Please welcome your village idiot, Tyson Leslie.
Hi guys, how you doing? Right now,
Hi.
I'm here with with Charlie and Carla. How are you guys? It's good to see you.
Good.
Man,
Doing good.
it's been a while. I haven't. Last time I saw you guys was on the Megadeth cruise, and that was in October of what was that? What was that? 2019.
Back in
So
the year when we could do cool shit.
when we could
The
do
year
cool.
of that year.
I was 18.
I miss
No,
cool
it's
shit.
2019.
I know.
Yeah. So welcome in everybody. Feel free if you got any questions or whatever to throw in there. We might throw in a couple in the end, but right now it's all about the two people that are on the screen, including myself. So I just kind of wanted to learn and talk to you guys about not all the stuff that you can really always Google and look up on Wikipedia and everything like that. And Carla, obviously, you and we've known each other now for a long time. I was actually trying to think the other day of how we actually met because I remember it was definitely the MySpace days. It was before Facebook was like a big thing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I met Heidi too, is MySpace. So we probably met on MySpace. And I think maybe you invited us to a Corey Taylor show or something. But I
Yeah.
think we were talking before that.
It
And you were a
was
great
because
help to us when we were starting our band because you actually helped us with some songs at the beginning of our career.
right.
We had started Butcher Babies and we were trying to write as many songs as possible quickly so we could start playing, shows. And so you came in and saved the day for us.
Yeah,
And
you did. I was so glad that
there
you
was some
did that though.
cool stuff.
Um, but yeah, I was trying to remember because I remember Switchblade Kitty. Is that
Mhm.
that's the right name, right? And then there was the
Yeah,
band,
there was a bunch of names for
and
that
then
band.
there was a short-lived band in between that you guys were doing in Vegas before Butcher Babies, but I
we
couldn't remember
we
what that was.
yeah, that's not even worth mentioning that band. But yeah, it was same kind of formula as Switchblade Kitty, and we didn't do much with that band, but because we really wanted to just start an original band. We were tired of playing covers. It was fun, if you came to some of those shows, do you remember how fucking awesome they were? I mean, they were packed houses every night. We had residencies at some of the hottest, music venues in Hollywood. The Roxy. We had the first one that we had a residency at was the Viper. So every
Oh
Monday
wow,
night,
okay.
that place would be packed to the gills, and there would be blood and feathers rolling down the street after our show. And
Nice.
it was a really, really cool time, and it was really fun while it lasted. But Heidi and I, we really wanted to make original music. We were tired, like I said, tired of playing cover songs. So
Sure.
we stopped doing that and formed Butcher Babies pretty quickly.
Um, let's go back to kind of a little before all of that stuff for both of you guys. Like Charlie, why drums? How did you gravitate toward that instrument? Obviously, you have a guitar you had a guitar in your hand before we started talking. But how'd you get? How did you end up on that instrument? And was that your first instrument?
Yeah, I was. I didn't choose it. It chose me actually when I was
Yeah.
really young, like maybe 3, 4 years old. I was actually playing drums.
Nice.
Uh, like
Like real drums or just like setting up pots and shit like that across your, like a lot
no,
of kids do.
actually, um, I could. Well, I couldn't reach the pedal on the drum kit, but I could
Right.
actually play. And
Oh,
then my dad uh, took me for lessons when I was like 4, but they wouldn't give me lessons because they said I had to. He has to know how to read first and stuff like that. And
right.
so we actually found this place. There was this jazz drummer who owned this record store, but in the back, they gave lessons to
Oh wow,
kids.
cool.
So my dad brought me there, and the guy said, well, he's too young to take lessons. And my dad said, no, he can play though. So the guy, his name was Louis, and I'll never forget him. He was a jazz drummer. He kind of had this cool way of talking and took us in the back. I sat down on the kit and I started playing, and he started giving me lessons the next week.
That's awesome. How long did you do that for?
Lessons?
Yeah.
I took lessons about a year,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to take lessons. I just wanted to play. So it wasn't until later on, like I was about 10 or so, that I started taking lessons again.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So you ended up actually taking lessons again. Let's see. So I'm not going to throw out your age, but judging on the timeline, what were you listening to around that time?
Anything that my sisters and my cousins played. So it was everything from Beatles, the Doors,
Nice.
And my neighbors next door, they were 4 boys, and they would always play like Zeppelin and Jethro Tull stuff. So I kind of heard everything.
Now, Carla, do you play anything? Do you play instruments at all?
I started playing the violin when I was 5. I still dream of becoming a bass player.
Oh yeah.
But it just like, I feel like that you can only do so much. I can definitely strum a little bit, but I don't waste my time anymore, because I feel like it's better just to kind of, I do so much stuff that I don't have time to put that on my plate too. But I did grow up, playing violin, so I was trained.
The thing about instruments to me is like, I'm always attracted to other instruments. Some come easy, some do not come easy.
Sure.
I still struggle with playing piano.
Okay.
Although it's something that I really would love to do, is just play piano. Like I watched Jordan from
Jordan
Dream
Rudess.
Theater.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah, he had something on YouTube about his favorite pieces, and I was watching it, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, man.
He's the same way. He's being shy about it, but he'll go down and leave a piano downstairs, and he'll just like go down and play whatever.
Sure,
he thinks
right.
He says he can't play piano, but he can play literally anything that he picks up.
Nice. I believe that about you.
But Jordan, like, I watched him, and I was just like, all right, enough. I can't do this anymore.
But yeah, there's definitely players like that that'll make you like, go, okay. I mean, he does that for me, and I've been playing that thing since I was 3 years old. I mean, that's...
No, you play amazing, dude. I mean,
thank you.
I've seen you play.
Yeah, I mean, I got to play with your singer on a different cruise, which was pretty fun. I don't know. Did you know about that, where we did the whole Journey set? That was pretty damn cool. I didn't.
I wish I was.
That just kind of came out of nowhere. I was on that cruise to do something else. I ended up meeting up with Joey, and basically talked my way into that gig, because he had a different keyboard player, and I was like, well, how are you going to do the solos, and how are you going to do this, and how are you going to do that? And I was like, all right, you need me on there. I'm going to throw a keyboard on there. I'm going to sit in. Let's go rehearse. It's going to be great. Trust me. And it worked out. That's pretty much how that happened. So that was cool.
Which one was that?
That was the Shiprocked cruise. So it's actually where I met Frankie too. And because Frank was on there doing the thing with Ellefson, with the Attitudes and Altitude band, which was awesome. And Bumblefoot was playing guitar, and John from the Cult was playing drums, and that was really cool, because I love that record. And so it's good to actually see that live, because I don't think there's really very many scenarios where you're going to be able to see that band live, because it's such a kind of side project for everybody, and everybody's so busy with so much other stuff. But I was very happy to be able to see it, because I think that the last one that they put out was really, really cool. And but yeah, so that one is a little bit more it's not really a lot. Honestly, that cruise there's not a lot of bands that I'm a huge fan of on that, because it's a lot of bands tuned down to Z and screaming and stuff like that. And I like screaming, but it's got to be dynamic and interesting. It's just not, because so many, I'm showing my age, but so many of the bands that just all sound like everything's on 11 all the time, and there's no like peaks and valleys in it. And I feel like that is a big thing about a lot of modern.
I like 11.
What's that?
I said I like 11.
We've
actually been able to play that cruise, and it was a blast. That was the first cruise we played, and I hope they bring us back sometime. They're really great people, and the fans of Shiprock
are huge.
They really are, like, they have a huge fan base, and they're like one big family, and they're supportive of every artist they've seen on the boat. So
you know about
really
the Stowaways then. I'm part of the Stowaways. I'm the
cool.
keyboard player for the Stowaways thing. So that's kind of what my original job was. And then it ended up being, oh, you're going to play for Joey and then you're going to do this. And then, oh, by the way, can you do so? Because I'm like that. I'm a big fat whore and I just do whatever. Like, what do you need? Okay, sure. I'll go do that too. That sounds good. But, you know, because you're on a boat for 5-6 days and I like to stay busy. So if I can have something to do, I mean, as much as I like relaxing and stuff like that, I also like, you know, being busy. But Charlie, how did you meet Scott?
Scott?
Yeah.
Wow, we're going back.
Oh, yeah.
Funny thing is, I would see Scott at certain shows in New York.
Mm-hmm.
It would always be him and Danny Loker, the ex-bass player.
Yeah.
I'd see him at Judas Priest shows. I'd see him at Iron Maiden shows. I'd see him at Kiss shows. And
right.
We never knew each other. But we had a mutual friend who knew someone else. And the crew that I used to hang out with from Queens didn't like those guys. And I told my friends, I said, hey, do you ever hear of the band Anthrax? They're from Queens. I'm like, oh, yeah, they suck. I hate those guys. So I'm like, oh, shit. All right, whatever, you know. But there was a rivalry between both of them.
Okay.
And so a good friend of mine, knew Scott and Danny and another friend and said, hey, they're looking for a drummer. I told them about you and they really want to, you know, audition you. So I said, okay, great. So they came over to the Bronx and the first song we played was Invaders.
Oh, wow. Right.
Yeah. And then I said, we played a couple other tunes. And then I said, are you guys going to ask me to play Fast as a Shark? You know, that Accept song
that
had really fast double bass.
Yeah.
Because I knew it so well. So I said, you're not going to, and they both looked at each other and they're like, can you play it? And I'm like, yeah, play it, let's do it.
Nice.
And we played that song. And then they left and then Scott called me later and he's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I was going to art school.
No, right. Okay.
And that was it. And then
Nice.
the next thing I knew, we were rehearsing 7 days a week in Jamaica, Queens. And then Ross the Boss was going to produce our single.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
And then it just went on from there. Like it was nonstop. It didn't stop.
We did one of those festivals over there in Europe a couple of years ago, and Ross the Boss was on it, man. And I'd never seen him live before. That is quite a treat. It's a very interesting show that guy puts on, man. But that dude's got a lot of energy, for sure.
Man, those guys, you know, back then, you know, Ross and Joey, you know, Manowar, they were. The only way I could put it is they were on a mission.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The thing, to me, they fucking conquered Europe, dude.
Yeah, for sure. And all of the fantastic album covers that they've always had, for sure, over the years. It's funny you mentioned Accept, because the gig I did last night, I was telling you I was on stage all day yesterday. The last gig I did was with the drummer from Accept, the current drummer, Christopher Williams. He was filling in for the guy that normally does the gig. We were both filling in, actually. That's the funny thing about Nashville sometimes, is you'll get a call, hey, can you come down and play, a 10 to 2 shift or whatever? Okay, send me your set list. Okay, yeah, I know 80% of those. Let's do it. And then you'll show up with a bunch of dudes you've never met and play 4 hours of music together and get through it. So, and Christopher was on the gig. Unfortunately, that's a guy I know. He's a good dude. Have you met him?
No, I don't think so.
He's been with them for, I don't know, about maybe 4 or 5 years. Basically, since I moved here to Nashville, he's been with them. And
Wow.
He recorded on the last record. He's a great player, killer player.
Do they still have Mark from
Yep.
TT Quick?
Yep, Mark's still singing, and the rest of the band's almost totally different. Wolf's there, obviously, but you know, Peter, the bass player, he left last year. Well, not last year, 2 years ago. I keep forgetting COVID. This year doesn't count. But 2 years ago, he left the band and replaced with another German guy who lives in Nashville named Martin. Great player. So yeah, it's just a completely different band, honestly. But they still sound amazing, and their new record is really good. If you haven't heard it, check it out.
Well, I think they were on a festival or two with us, like about 2 or 3 years ago. And Udo was also on a festival that we played with.
Oh, nice.
Udo was fucking awesome.
Dude, he was great. I saw him on the Monsters of Rock cruise like 2 years ago, or last year. He was on it last year, and I was like, okay, let's go watch Udo. And he had his cane, and he was just doing his thing, and I was like, holy crap, this band sounds amazing.
In 1984, I know it was 1984 because it was myself, Scott, Danny, of course. We were all going to was going to play with Kiss for the first time they were ever coming to America.
Wow. Okay.
And we were like so stoked to see them. They were opening up for Kiss at Radio City, and I couldn't wait to see Accept. And they came on. They played like 30 minutes, but but later that night they were playing L'Amour.
Oh wow, nice.
So we all went to L'Amour. They played everything. They played Breaker. They played every song that we wanted to hear.
That's
They were
awesome.
awesome.
So they did 2 shows that day.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. You briefly, Carla mentioned meeting Heidi on MySpace, but elaborate on that. Were you looking for somebody, or you just meet her and then, hey, we're friends and let's do a band together? How did that happen?
No, there was an ad on MySpace, and it was for a band. At the time, it was called Triple X, and it was these 5 girls that wore, tape over their nipples and played cover songs. And I kept seeing, this page with this ad, and I was like, damn, I want to be a part of that. And at the time I had finished mortuary college and given up on music and anything entertainment. And I got my first job working in this beautiful funeral home. And that was going to be my life. I was just going to be an embalmer. And the guy that I was dating at the time, I told him about this MySpace ad I saw, and he's like, if you go audition for that band, I'm going to break up with you.
Oh my
God. Girl that I want to be with is just an embalmer. She gave up entertainment. And so I said, yeah, all right, I won't go. And of course I went to the audition anyways, because something told me that it was like that feeling like your fate was waiting for you. It was silly maybe, but just a MySpace ad. But I went and I got in the band, and, Heidi was one of the girls in the band already. And we had our first show a few days later at the Viper Room. So I had to learn all the songs. My solo song was Where Eagles Dare.
Oh, nice. Wow. Okay.
So that was really cool. And then, so we went up on stage, and, like I said, the Viper Room just a few nights later. And I remember the boyfriend at the time that I had, he was in the crowd, and he was just had his arms crossed.
Hilarious.
And I looked him directly in the eye as I was singing, that song. And I was like, I guess I chose what I really wanted out of my life. But it was just a crazy thing, because you never know, why you see things or why you meet certain people. Henry was an old friend from Playboy. We both worked at Playboy. Okay. And he happened to go to one of these Switchblade Kitty shows, and I hadn't seen him in years and years, probably like 8 years. And he's like, oh, that's, cool. And then I asked if he knew any guitar players, because me and Heidi were going to start our own band. And he's like, well, I play guitar. And I'm like, you don't play guitar, dude. And there he is. There's our bandmate. It's just crazy how we all came together. But yeah, it started with a MySpace ad.
That's funny. Well, but Henry wasn't in the band right at first, right? He didn't come in until a bit later, or was he right there?
No, he the first Butcher Baby show we ever played, it was Henry, Jason, and I think it was all of us. It was Henry, Jason, and Chris. And it was funny because Chris wasn't going to be our drummer. We had another drummer, and I can't even remember his name. We had gotten this guy, but he was a great studio guy, but he had to go to Europe for some reason. So he was going to miss our first show. Oh, okay. And so we got Chris to fill in for our real drummer that was coming home. And because we had 2 shows, and this guy made it home from Europe to just see the second show that we played. We got off stage, and he's like, yeah, you guys were okay, but you were flat on this one song, and she was flat on this other song. We're like, the fuck, man, it's punk rock. And so we kept Chris because he was cool in punk rock, and we got rid of the other guy. Gotcha. So from the beginning, it was just us, you know?
Yeah, I saw Chris on that Shiprock boat. The last one, he was on there for something. I'm not really sure what he was
Yeah,
doing.
I think he goes and plays, music.
Right on. Yeah, I think it was different. It was, to me, the attraction was, aside from, the look of the band, obviously, and being male and heterosexual, that was like very attractive, but also the fact I was like, wait, there's a bunch of girls playing Black Flag songs and fucking like and Seek and Destroy and stuff like that. Like that, you don't see that very often. In
And we were wild. That band was wild. I mean, we would be covered in beer and blood and like like I said, there was feathers stuck in blood everywhere. It was crazy. And we used to throw down.
Was that the first band you've ever been in? Or
No, I've been in bands since high school, but I think finding the one that sticks is it's hard. You got to find
Sure.
people who are just as passionate as you are and have the same kind of vision and the same drive, because most people don't. Even people in LA, they go there because they want to be famous or they want to be in a band, they want to do something cool, but they don't actually want to put the work in. So I think with Butcher Babies, I had finally found people who were on the same wavelength as me, who wanted it to work. And for all of us in the band, it was kind of like our last chance, because, we had all moved to LA early in our 20s and tried a bunch of different bands, tried entertainment. And when we became a band, we were all, well, Heidi's a little bit younger, but, Henry and I are the same age, we were older. So it was kind of like, all right, we're going to give it one more shot and just see if something happens. If we get to play a bunch of cool shows with our best friends, awesome. And it turned out to be life-changing. And we've obviously toured the world together.
Yeah. You're one of the first bands that I know of that I can think of where I've actually watched it go from total inception to being pretty successful. So that's been a pretty fun thing to watch over the years.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I had for both of you was, what was your very first band and what was it called?
You want to go first?
I don't remember the name of the band. They would, so when I was taking lessons when I was 5, it was part of this school, okay, and they would put all the kids from the school in bands, and you would play a recital. So
it's kind of like School of Rock is now, that type
it's
of.
kind of like that, yeah. And you would play a recital in front of a bunch of elderly people.
Totally. I remember those days too.
And so I was 5, and the rest of the people were like 15, 16, and we were playing like adventure songs and songs like that. And I actually have a picture from that gig. I was wearing like these Steve Harris black and white striped pants. Nice. I had this big Gretsch kit that my dad bought me from the family across the street. So,
I know the picture. I love it. He showed me today on the counter downstairs. He showed me his one of his first drumsticks, his aluminum drumstick, and it's so cute.
It's a what? A what drumstick?
Aluminum.
Oh
aluminum
wow!
Drumstick.
Yeah.
And he was like,
it was like
5.
a practice.
Yep. It was heavy, right? For that kind of.
It was. Well, it's at the time it was heavy.
Right. What was the first, both bands, what was the first artist when you became a headliner? Who was the first band that you took out on the road with you?
Us.
Both bands. Yeah.
Wow. Who did we take out?
I know that's a long time ago.
We would play because we would do just sporadic shows, and we were looking to get on tours, but our first tour of Europe, we took Overkill and a band called Agent Steel.
Oh yeah, I remember them. Yeah. All right, nice.
And they had we were sharing a bus, and I remember the band Agent Steel got into a huge brawl with each other, and we were just going, "What the fuck is going on?" Man?
All 3 bands were sharing a bus.
Yeah, because what it was, there were no overnight drives. It was basically stay in the hotel, get up, drive to the next city or whatever. Yeah, it was, it was crazy.
That is crazy. That sounds. And you're both. Well, was Agent Steel from New York or as well? As I
No,
mean,
I think
Overkill
it
was, but
Overkill's from Jersey. I think Agent Steel were from Florida.
oh, okay, okay. Man, I've heard that name in a long, long time. What
It's
about
funny because one of the guys in the band was this guy, Juan Garcia?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't
You
know him
know
personally,
Juan?
but I know who you're talking about.
So he had another band, of course, and then he's in Body Count, and he just
Yeah,
won a Grammy.
yeah. I saw. Yep, I saw that. That's what I. That's where I know him mostly from is from that. So, and
Pretty awesome.
yeah, that's really cool. You guys, have you ever won a Grammy? I know you've been nominated like what 5 times or whatever, but have you won one?
No, it's just really nice to be nominated and go to the parties and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, sure. That's definitely something I've always been curious to know, like what that whole world is like, when you're actually there and seeing what do they do during commercials and things like that. Because I've never been at any of those kinds of events, but it's
I have a great story about a commercial break, but I'll let Carla tell.
Oh no, you can tell them your story.
no,
I like all your stuff.
yeah, go ahead.
This was about 4 years ago, and I took my daughter to the Grammys about 3 times. The first time I took her, she was like 5, and the one time I took her, she during the show, she's like, Dad, I have to go to the bathroom. So I said, okay, come on, let's go. So we get out of our seats and we go, and then they told us you can't leave. You have to stand in the wings and wait till the performances are done. Then you can go.
Okay.
Okay, so we're waiting in the wings, and out of the corner of my eye, I see Paul McCartney come walking over to
God.
us.
Right.
And he sees my daughter, and he bends down and he pinches her cheek, and he's like, "Oh, look at you! You are so beautiful." And I'm watching this, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" And of course, she knows the Beatles, So they start having a conversation, and
Were you jealous that he didn't pinch your cheek?
yeah, I was pinch my cheek.
He's like, I'm over here.
But it was such a great moment, and then of course he's like, "This must be Dad," and then we started talking, and it seemed like it went on forever, but it was just a moment in time. But anyway, that was the greatest bathroom break that my daughter ever took.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to. I don't think you're going to be able to one up that bathroom break for sure. I was just about to ask you though, what is kind of that's a great story, but I was gonna, I'll get to my next question in a second, but because I want to still find out who Butcher Babies took out for the first time they went out as a headliner.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah.
So I have to think really hard. It's been 10 years. So, but some of the bands that we did really, really like taking out were Sumo Psycho, who are doing really well right now, and Tetrarch. They were great. Hyro the Hero. Those were really fun bands to take out on the road with us. And we liked to be very hands-on with who we pick. We don't, we get suggestions and we're like, no, we want these people because they're fucking cool and we love their music. So
yeah,
sometimes you have to go over the agent and the promoter's head sometimes, because we want to take this band out, and the promoter comes back with, they mean nothing in this market, and it's like, well.
Speaking of that, you should take Butcher Babies out. I think like a cool European tour.
I would totally go see that. Well, not in Europe, but you do have to spend time with those people. You got to see them every day for a while and all that kind of stuff. You want them to be people that you get along with, I would imagine, and all that type of stuff.
I think you just want the right vibe more so. Obviously, it's great to have people that you connect with and that you can, have a drink with after the show. But more importantly, you want to make sure that they're get the crowd riled up and that they're gonna,
right,
be an asset to the show. They're gonna bring people, and also they're gonna, liven up the mood before you hit the stage.
But a lot of bands are afraid of taking a band that, look, if they start selling more merch, so many bands don't like that at all.
Oh yeah, we had a huge problem on our very first tour with who we toured with, because we sold a lot of merch, and all of a sudden we became a problem. It's like we thought we were doing good, and
right.
and it became a problem. But
absolutely.
Yeah, I can understand. I remember we did a run. This is a different band I was in for a little. I was just filling in for the guitar player because he was having a kid, and we went out with Whitesnake, and we didn't sound a damn thing like them at all. Like we were more of kind of modern rock type of band or whatever. And the first show I did was at the Warfield in San Francisco, and um, we sold like, 100 CDs that night and a ton of T-shirts and everything. And I was actually more impressed just the fact with these Whitesnake fans were buying our stuff because I was like, we don't fit with that band at all, but somehow we did. But Butcher Babies is a good example. Faster Pussycat's another example of a band that always just has killer merch. Like whether you like the band or not, you're like, that shirt looks fucking cool. I want to buy that shirt or I want to buy that whatever. And so, I mean, aside from being a fan of the band, you just have stuff that looks really good, and sometimes the headliners shirts are stupid. They're kind of lame or whatever. So
Well, that's another thing we're pretty hands-on is in picking our own t-shirt designs and working with people that we trust and throwing them ideas and stuff like that for our merch, because merch is probably the most important thing for a band right now.
for sure,
Unfortunately,
right now.
it has to be like that, but you have to have good stuff so you can keep being out there on the road. You got to sell merch.
Trust me, there's times when I look at some merchandise and I'm like, that's the ugliest fucking shirt I've ever seen. And
Right.
then you come to find out that's the number one seller.
That's true too.
That's funny. Yeah, well, yeah, that's
So the uglier the better.
what's that?
The uglier the better.
Yeah, I guess so. When is this? So now you just told that great bathroom story, but what is an artist? This is a question for both of you as well. What is an artist that you've worked with in some capacity, whether it's you've toured with them or whether you've done a jam with them or anything like that, where you're going, holy crap, I can't believe I'm playing with this person, right now or whatever. I mean, I've had a couple scenarios like that myself, but I'm curious to know for both of you who've had, really success, like who do you get excited about it at this point, especially since, I mean, Charlie, you playing with a lot of people over, having been in the business as long as you have. So,
As soon as you said that, the one story that came to my mind was we were doing this feature in Guitar World magazine, us and Kiss, and we went to this restaurant to do part of the interview. It was just Gene and Paul, and
Okay.
after that, they came back to our rehearsal place, which was Mates in California,
okay.
and all of our equipment was set up because we were rehearsing for a tour. And Paul got up and put on a guitar, and me,
Oh, wow.
him, my nephew, we just started playing Kiss song after Kiss song after Kiss song. And
Right.
Gene wouldn't get up and play, but he was like watching and smiling and singing background vocals. So we played so many Kiss songs that day, and I was in my glory.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. What about you, Carla?
I mean, I've gotten to do a lot of really cool jams with, musicians, and obviously I live with my favorite drummer, so that's
Right.
pretty fucking cool. But I think that a time for me that I was a little starstruck after the fact was we were doing interviews in Australia during Soundwave, and I'm in the middle of an interview, and Heidi's next to me, and I'm just, chatting away to the interviewer. We're on camera, and I feel someone kiss me on the cheek. And this person said, "I love my Butcher Babies," and I was like, I didn't want to brush them off because we're on the middle of the camera, and it was
Right.
so fast and so sudden.
Yeah.
So, anyways, after the interview, I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" And it was Rob Halford.
Oh,
Of all
hilarious.
people in the world, it was Rob Halford. He kissed me on the cheek and said he loved my band,
Nice.
and my mind was like blown afterward. So.
Totally.
That's cool.
That's a great story. Both of those are great stories. Yeah, it's funny because like I've gotten to kind of get a lot. In fact, Christopher, who plays for Accept now, the guy I was just talking about, he and a bunch of friends here, they were part of Ace Frehley's. A couple of them still are part of Ace's current touring band, and they also did Gene's band before that. In fact, when Gene was done doing his solo thing and selling the vault and all that stuff, he basically went to Ace and was like, "Hey, you need to clean up your band. I got the guys," and ushered him into Ace's band. So I definitely get a lot of It's been fun to get some of the firsthand Ace and Gene stories for them from those guys. So,
They're good. With Gene, they were really good too.
yeah. Did you get to go see them when they came through?
I saw clips of them, but I never. We were supposed to do. I was supposed to go to one of the vault things here,
Mhm.
and we weren't in town when it happened.
Right, right. So did you do all the editing yourself on all those quarantine videos? You're kind of the king of the quarantine videos last year when nobody could play gigs and stuff like that. And which you are making those into a record also, right? Am I correct in
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Actually, so the story with that was a friend of mine who I've known for a while. He was actually my drum tech during like the Big Four time with us. My friend Andy, he is an awesome engineer and mixer, and he was helping me out a lot mixing the tunes. And then my friend Dima is a great video editor, so he was helping me do all the
Okay.
video stuff. And we were just enjoying it, actually, doing them all. And so I kept getting asked the same question: Are you going to put this out like on download a video? I mean, or vinyl? And finally, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. So
Nice.
it comes out May 14th
Okay.
on vinyl, and of course, streaming, download, whatever, but not CD. People are asking why not CD, and I said because we're not doing it.
And
It's
nobody's
just not
buying
doing
them
CD.
really. I mean, it's
I
almost a
know.
waste of resource at this point,
As
And it's,
much as it kills me, it's like
yeah,
we're not
for
doing
sure.
it. Not doing it.
How many songs did you guys do total, do you think? And are you releasing all of them or just the best of kind of?
So what is it? There's like 12, I believe, or 14 on the record.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay.
and I didn't put the Soundgarden song on that. And I didn't put the Rush songs on there either because I'm going to do a special EP for Record Store Day of
Oh,
just the
cool.
Rush.
All right. That's
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
And I mean, Alex and Ra, they appear on the record more than anybody.
yeah,
Yes.
those are the dudes for sure. Um,
We're working on one more now too.
on a new video?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Ra, I met on the Shiprock cruise right before Megadeth cruise. So I met all the Suicidal guys on there. Man, what a great player.
Great guy, great player, everything about him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, a completely left field question for both of you. What's your favorite Star Wars movie of the whole series of all the movies? Because I know you're both Star Wars people.
So would that include like Rogue One, or you just
Sure.
mean the
Sure, or it's up to you.
For me, it's always been Empire Strikes Back.
I'd say the Ewok movie. I'm just joking. What is the Ewok movie technically called right now?
Return.
No, I think Empire Strikes
Oh, you
Back.
mean the Ewok?
The Ewoks,
The Ewok
the actual
Adventure
Ewok
or whatever?
Adventure.
Oh, that one. Yeah, right.
I'm joking.
I was never a big Ewok fan.
I was a kid, so of course I was
So was I.
an Ewok.
Right. But I mean,
But I love Rogue One too. That's like one of my
dude, it was amazing.
everything about that. I also like the Han Solo movie, where other people
I did too.
they didn't see it.
I liked it.
I thought it was good.
And they've done great with the Mandalorian so far. So
We
Let's see where
love the
that goes.
Mandalorian.
yeah.
We were obsessed with it.
I think that the reason why the Mandalorian works and it's so good is because the people who are doing it love Star Wars just as much as we do.
Right.
So the
Absolutely.
attention, the detail, the story, everything about it. As soon as I knew Jon Favreau was doing it, I'm like, it's going to be good.
Right.
You know,
For sure.
it's like if I heard someone else was doing it, I'm like, I don't know. But that I love, actually recently during COVID, had a chance to like catch up on some things and watch some new shows. I love the WandaVision show. I thought that was great.
Me too.
The Boys. The Boys was awesome.
Yep.
We liked The Marvelous Miss Maisel at the beginning of the pandemic. We binge watched that. We
I
loved
accidentally
it.
started that on season 2 or 3 because on Amazon, if you click it, it doesn't start from the beginning. Like it's just from whatever. So I was like, what the hell is going on? I have no idea. So I have to go back and start that from the beginning. I haven't gotten back to that one yet. So
We really liked it.
Yeah, that's a great show. And if you're from New York, it has a special meaning, I think.
a lot of history,
Because-
right?
A lot of history, old school New York, like certain places like Katz's Delicatessen down on Houston Street.
Yeah.
All those things to me are just great,
And they did a good job of making everything look authentic to that time and all that stuff. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
the stories are great. It's written really well.
All right, back to music. What is your favorite album of yours that you have made so far, for both of you?
Goliath. Oh, that's
It's my album. Oh, what's your favorite album that you've made?
So there's the one album that gave me a career was the Among the Living record, but I like them all,
Sure.
because each one of them has a special thing. It's like you have 4 kids. Which is your favorite?
Right.
See, that was-
Sure.
I would definitely pick between my kids, 100%.
But it's hard because each album there's something that surrounds it.
Yeah.
There's the time you were all together. You made this thing. I mean, now we don't make records the way we once did, where we would be in a room together for months. We don't do that anymore. We're all kind of spread apart in the country, and it's usually me sending a demo of the song, and then getting the thumbs up, and then we all get together, and then we kind of play it.
Hash
and
out
it comes
parts and stuff like that.
But like sometimes I'll tell her we spent so much damn money back in the day.
He tells me how much money that they used to even get for music videos, and it's like blows my mind.
Right.
Well, it used to blow our mind too. It's
I
like
bet.
you're gonna spend how much money on this thing?
Sure. And
It's
then
just a different
that's all
time.
has to be recouped though too, right? And I mean, back in
Well-
the day in those kind of deals.
If the deal was structured that way, more times it was structured that you had to recoup, but you were selling records.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a weird thing, man. It's like nowadays I equate like the MTV thing to the likes and the
Right.
how many hits, all that stuff. But the worst thing for us musicians, bands, is streaming. Sorry, I'm going to say it again. It kills us. And now you watch what's going to happen with these other things. It may make the industry better, may put the music and the money back in our pockets now.
What
with,
other things do you mean?
The tokens and all the non-fungible tokens,
I don't think I'm very privy to all of that stuff.
NFTs.
NFTs, man.
Yeah, I did hear people talking. I saw something about that last week, but I honestly had no idea what that meant or what it means yet. I guess I just haven't
To me,
gotten that
it's
far.
almost like a Ponzi scheme.
Right.
But I don't know. The more I hear about it, the more certain things sound. Oh, I like that, And I'm just sad because I'm the type of person that likes to have the physical thing in my hand.
Yeah.
Likes to smell the paper. Likes to look at the vinyl. By the way, my record has 2. It comes with two
Oh,
records,
you're doing double? Nice.
and they're both colored.
And can you
So-
pre-order
Wait,
that?
Yeah.
Can
Say
you
it again?
can you pre-order that now?
Yeah, I believe. Gee, where can I go and order something? Go to Amazon.
Yep. Oh, all right. Wow. Nice. Let's see. You both now, how many album covers? You're both artists and not like music artists, but actual, like physical painting, drawing, things of that nature. Charlie, you've done some album covers for Anthrax. Which album covers did you do?
I did them all. I designed every one of them except for the first album. and that speaks for itself.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, I've designed every single one, and sometimes I've drawn the singles, some of the singles and stuff like that, and the inserts. I'll do that.
Okay,
But
I didn't know
I've
that.
worked with some amazing artists during the history of.
I mean, because like you just re-released the Persistence of Time with the, the cover art that you kind of had originally um, had
Yeah,
envisioned and all that kind of stuff. Like, why? What was it? How come you weren't able to do that the first time?
it wasn't a question I wasn't able to do it. It was how it came back.
Oh,
It didn't
okay.
come back. But there could have been something lost in translation too. But anyway, it came back, and I loved it anyway. I thought it looked cool.
Yeah.
It still had that Dali-esque theme to it or look to it. But when we were going to do the anniversary, I said I want to do the melting clock.
Nice. Yeah, it looks great. And Carla, how many? You've got a ton of stuff out there now at this point. I mean, because I remember that first Gash book came out like a long time ago, and now
Yeah,
how
well,
many volumes of that have you put out? And
8. Can you believe it? 8. I've
Wow.
done, so that means 8 years I've been making a living being an artist. So that's to me it's a huge accomplishment, because years ago they would tell you, obviously, when you grow up in a factory working town, that you have to get a real job and get married when you're 20 and have
Yeah.
kids right away. You're never gonna make money as an artist or a musician. That's crazy talk.
And you're from Michigan, right?
Yeah, I'm from Michigan, Detroit area. And so now I'm making a living off of music and art completely. And it's pretty awesome to be able to say that.
And how can, I mean, because you also have an Etsy store with a bunch of stuff on there. Is
I don't
that
have an
still
Etsy
active?
store. I have just a website, just carlaharvey.com.
Okay, cool. And so how many publications have you put out total? Because you also wrote a novel, which I have.
I wrote a book. I have 2 comics, more comics coming. I'm really excited to finish up some comics that I've been working on. I teamed up with this artist named Matt Northrup, who's really awesome. And we're doing this comic. It's really dear to my heart that I wrote years ago called Persephone's Gift. So hopefully that'll be out by the end of the year. Art takes a long time. And then I'm working on one called Hellions with my friend Marissa Telez, she's a fucking awesome writer. She has a book, a couple books out as well.
Marissa's watching right now. She's commenting.
Oh, she is?
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Marissa. So me and Marissa have been trying to get this comic book finished for years, and it was never the right time. And then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, well, this is the right time.
Right.
So we came up with a story. She's writing the story, and I'm doing the art for this one. And then I wrote Persephone's Gift, and Matt Northrup's doing the art for that one. So I'm just, while that sucks that we can't get out there and play music and go on tour and do all that kind of stuff, it has been nice to be home and, be able to pursue some other dreams that I have, as far as comics and just making more art. And then, we've been releasing a single a month too, as Butcher Babies. And so that's been keeping our attitudes positive about music as well. So we've got that. So it feels, even though it's a really shitty time and that we can't tour, we can't have live shows and all that, I do feel really positive because my life is still filled with art and music. Even it feels like even more so than ever. So I'm super happy.
Yeah, I've been really lucky in that same regard. I've got a lot of things done. I've recorded a lot for my house, for people that I used to hang on my wall as a kid. And, I did some stuff with, I mentioned before, I don't think we were live yet, but I'd been recording and writing with Dave Ellison. And then I did some stuff with Faster Pussycat and John Corabi and a bunch of guys. And it's been things I can do for my house. And just like you're saying, it was a good time. I remember, though, musically, I haven't been as productive. Where I think, man, I got a whole year and I can get my studio set up and just start it. And then I go out here and I'll sit down and, okay, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go watch Netflix instead. Like, I don't know how many times you guys had that kind of moment.
At all. I I when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I never sit down and watch TV instead. Or if I sit down and watch TV, I have my drawing pad in front of me.
Nice.
I think he can attest to that. There's never a time when I'm not working on something. I never mindlessly just watch TV, but I'm very self-motivated. So I'm lucky in that aspect. I know that a lot of people aren't. But you've got to light a fire under your own ass. No one else is going to do it for you.
For sure.
The lack, I heard a lot of complaining throughout the year from people, and it's like, you should take this time to really reflect on what you really have.
Yes.
And it's not about, oh, I can't go out and see a show. I can't. It's like, dude, if I've heard so many people complain about my kids are home. Oh my God. It's like, enjoy it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, we had family dinner every night especially during the beginning of the pandemic. You know, we ordered meal kits and we learned how to make things together. Nice. You know, me and Charlie's daughter, and we sat down and had conversations every night. You know, on Saturday nights, instead of going out to a show or to the bar, we sat together and did vocals, learned how to record vocals. I drove them crazy, you know.
Nice.
We were learning how to use different, you know, things. So,
but I've learned so much this year. Yeah. Not only about how to make music, about, you know, ourselves and man, we accomplished so much this year that we wouldn't have done it if we were on tour.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing a comic book too.
Yeah.
With Z2 Comics based on the Among the Living album.
Yeah.
And
congrats on that, by the way. That's awesome.
And it's coming. It's serious, man. It's so like amazing. Like I'm freaking out about it because I can't believe how good it's going to be.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And, you know, we did an art show last weekend as well. So we did all the art that we did during the pandemic. We had a chance to display it.
I was going to ask you about that because you had one back in November too, or did that get rescheduled?
It was pushed.
This was the one that was going to be in November.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you about how that went and just kind of how all that came about because and what all did you feature in it?
Well, you know, we a lot. We had so much art. I think we had 60 pieces altogether that we've done, you know, during the pandemic. And I've done art shows before. He hasn't. But part of the reason that we connected was, you know, based on art. Like our first date was in an art store. I picked him up from the studio and we went to Blick and shopped and we talked about different techniques. And we would, you know, we sent each other some artwork. I think I sent him physical copies of some of my artwork through the mail, and he emailed me a bunch of his stuff. So, you know, we both went to art school. We both quit to go play music. Right. And so we had the same trajectory. And so we connected a lot on that. So it was a perfect thing to do an actual, you know, art show together. He's never displayed his art before. So it was cool.
She definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. And in a way, I pushed her out of hers with some certain vocals on this Silver Linings record, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think having someone that, you know, kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit or demands more out of you or tells you to shut up when you're whining, you know what I mean? Yeah. About something or when you want to give up or telling you you're being ridiculous is a good thing. And like I said, luckily we love all the same things. And it's been, like I said, it's been a cool year for us to.
Do you sell your art as well or just put it up for display? Are you trying to?
Yeah. We sold some pieces too.
Nice.
He sells his art now too at charliebenantestore.com. He never talks, but he's got a ton of his prints up.
Okay.
No, but I'm proud of him because, you know, he's such a great artist.
Yeah.
And he's never, you know, because he's now the world can finally see how great of an artist he is. So
definitely.
I like to push everyone, whether it's my friends or my boyfriend or whatever. If you've got something special, show everybody, you know?
Yeah. I mean, even people in the chat are saying they didn't realize that some of this, and I didn't realize some of the stuff. I only discovered it just through research, kind of trying to figure out what questions I was going to ask. How extensive, like I didn't realize you were that hands-on with those album covers, and some of those covers are timeless. They're amazing.
That was the thing about, so I left art school, but I also got my art education through record company art departments. I would just go up there and I learned about what colors of an album cover are more striking to people when they're walking down,
Oh, interesting.
looking in the bins, stuff like that. And so yeah, it was because I wanted everything to be kind of dark, colors,
Right.
and then I think my mistake was State of Euphoria. It was like yellow and red, spiraling out of control. It's like if you didn't see that walking down the aisle, you
Right.
must be blind.
Right. But I didn't think it was a mistake at all. I love that cover. I mean, I think it's great.
Well, no, the mistake was another kind of lost in translation. The cover was supposed to be each one of us going down this vortex.
Okay.
When I got it back, when I saw the final one, it looked just like it was Joey.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
remember
we
that.
didn't have any more money, so that was it.
I gotcha. Have you ever done art for anybody else in terms of like other album covers for other people or anything like that?
I mean, I did the SOD, that original art. I've done
Okay.
most of our T-shirts. I'll actually draw some of them. I did the comic book that's coming out, the Among Living one. I did the I Am the Law cover.
Okay. Nice.
So I did that, and see, that was the thing about the comic book too. We wanted to be a part of it. We didn't want to just give it to people. Here, you write this, you write that. Scott's writing the I Am a Lost story. I did the art. So, the other guys got involved too with it. Joey did the forward. Frankie's part of a story. So we just wanted it to feel like this is coming from us too.
When is that coming out? Or is that out already?
It's not out yet.
Okay.
It's pre-order now, but I don't have the exact date. But
Okay.
there's some really good people involved in it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the list of some of the I think you said I saw Corey's name in there and some other folks. Robbie's on there.
Yeah,
Nice.
Gerard and Mikey Way are in it.
Nice.
They're writing a story. It's crazy. Greg Nicotero did a bunch of artwork for us. It's awesome.
Pretty cool. And then, is there anybody that you guys either for both of you that you haven't worked with yet that that's kind of on your bucket list of people that you really love to work with in some capacity or another? And it doesn't even have to be music necessarily.
I don't know.
That's an interesting question. I would love to score. I would love to personally score a Quentin Tarantino movie because I just want to be in a room with him and I just want to listen to him talk for an hour.
I think I'd like to do a film. Heidi and I both used to do a lot of acting, and it would be fun to do an actual film, Butcher Babies, even based on, our old comic or something. I think that would be something that would be cool with some big time director or even a little time director. Just it would be fun.
Well, you've got the material for it, obviously. I mean, and all the writing and all the comic stuff that you've done. I think that you could probably script something, and even if it's not like a full feature 90-minute 2-hour movie, but even just
it has to be a full feature.
Yeah.
2 hours. We've got 2 hours of material.
And then I guess, so what do you got coming up? I mean, you're putting out a single, how often? Like every couple of weeks or every?
Yeah, we have another one coming out on April 2nd, I think. So we've got that coming up. And if you guys haven't seen our new videos, go check them out. We've got 3 new videos out. And but a few new songs out right now, and it's been so much fun releasing new music.
Right.
Last night we played our album Goliath in its entirety on a live stream, and
Nice.
that was the last. And we had a pretty awesome VIP. It was nice to see all of our fans and talk to them and hang out for a while. It almost felt like it was like a real show. We all had the jitters beforehand.
Yeah.
But it was a really cool experience, and we're just trying to make it work right now. So head over to butcherbabies.com to check out all the new stuff
Can people
and keep
watch
your eyes peeled for the new one.
Can people watch that
Pardon?
show from last night?
It's on demand all week. I'm not sure if you can still buy a ticket to watch it on demand, but I'm going to say you probably can. So go to butcherbabies.com
Okay.
and grab a ticket.
Charlie, you mentioned SOD for a second. Is that something that'll ever happen again, or is that completely? I mean, because you did record, you did the Spanish or Diet last year. with Mike.
I should kind of clarify how that happened. So Scott did the Mr. Bungle thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Bungle did a series of shows, and they played that song. They played "Speak Spanish."
Okay, all right.
And after Scott did it, he called me up and he's like, "Do you want to do this?" Because I was starting to do the videos on YouTube.
Right.
Go to my YouTube channel and you'll see them all. And so I said, "Okay, but are we doing Speak English or Die?" And he's like, "No, Mike wants to do Speak Spanish or Die." So I thought it was funny.
Right. It was funny. It was awesome.
And Danny Loker played on it too. And it was great to play with Danny again because I really miss him. And we just had fun with it. But damn, the fucking comments about like the things that people would say, calling us like fucking sellouts, you know, this is America. It's like, this is English. It's like, you don't even get the joke.
Oh, wow. I didn't see any of that. That's ridiculous. But
yeah, because I deleted them all.
Oh, did you? I can imagine, though. I mean, with the way that things are in the world, people would just, I've been engaged in a couple of those conversations myself today. And it's just like, I don't know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like either nobody has a sense of humor anymore, or they are completely so tightly wound.
Right.
That it's like we say this all the time. What compels you that you need to write this comment? Boom. Yeah, now I feel good. Fuck them. You know what I mean? It's like I don't understand. Like if I see something that I don't dig, it's not what you're looking at that's bothering you. It's like all displaced anger.
Sure. I've seen Carla and you guys. I've seen you deal with that since the beginning of your career, at least with Butcher Babies as a band, in terms of just comments on Blabbermouth and comments on those types of websites.
Well, Blabbermouth, you expect comments like everyone knows not to even bother with the comments of Blabbermouth because it's like they hire trolls. So telling me to die of cancer, it's like people say the stupidest things and the meanest things, but you really have to be above it. I mean, I guess I was such a misfit in high school and middle school. I got called every name you could possibly be called. I had a really hard time growing up. So like, there's nothing you could possibly say to me to make me feel shitty about myself at this point. And also, even my first job at Playboy, when I did the news, there was a ton of harassment then too. And that was 20 years ago. So it's like every career, even being an embalmer, I was told by employers that they would hire me to be a front desk girl, but never hire me to be an embalmer or be an autopsy tech for their company because I wasn't a guy.
Perfectly qualified.
So, I've heard it. I've literally heard it all. So it doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll laugh at the comments, but it's just not worth engaging in negativity.
Well, most of the times, if it's something that's really like kind of stupid and just like if they catch me on a bad day, then I'm going to go after them too. But I don't go after them publicly. I'll go after them privately.
Oh yeah.
And then it usually turns out that they fucking apologize. Sorry, dude. I was just, getting a ride. It's like, well, why? What? Sure. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Believe me, dude. There's a ton of fucking overrated bands out there, but you don't see me fucking writing about them.
Yeah.
And it's like. Just let it go. Like what?
What were you saying there, Carla?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh. Okay. Do you keep in touch with Billy at all? Like we were talking about SOD for a second. Is that something, or is that just not a thing? It seems like you guys are very, very, very different people. But I was very fortunate that I did catch the what was it? Was it the Bigger Than the Devil? I did catch that short tour. You guys played at the Bottleneck in Lawrence, Kansas, and I was at that show. So I was glad to at least catch SOD once in my life. So that was pretty fun.
Oh, I like that little town there, Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
We played the theater there too, and
at the Granada. I saw you guys there too. That was like the first reunion run that you guys did.
Was it there? Wow. Fuck. All right.
Yeah, that was what, the first time I saw, the first time I saw you guys was when you were with Kiss, like a million years ago. But then I didn't see you again until the Granada show when you had reformed with Danny and Joey. And
Yeah, I remember having some good shows on that run. But I always remember Lawrence, Kansas. Just the town was cool little coffee shop. I think there was a Borders Books that spent the day in.
Nice. So you've got a record coming out with all your video stuff, and Carla, you got a record coming out. When is the Butcher Babies full? When is that whole thing actually coming
I'm not
out?
sure when we're going to release the full album, but we're like I said, we're really enjoying releasing a single every month and having fun with it that way, and really giving each song its moment to shine. And it's been, like I said, it's been fun. I feel like it's a treat for us, something to look forward to, and it's a treat for the fans to do it that way, because everyone is so, even with us, we'll binge watch a show if it's available,
Right.
But there's something really cool about having to wait for something. So like The Mandalorian, you have to wait till the next week, and rather than seeing everything all at once. So I kind of feel like that's what we're doing, and I think it's the way to go right now.
I think so too, because a lot of people won't even listen to a whole record anyway. Like if you get it on Spotify or any of those kinds of things, they're just going to listen to the one song that they know, and they don't even bother to go with the rest of the record. So it seems that sounds like a really good move. Do either of you guys have shows coming up at all, or nothing's in the books at this point for you?
No, like I said, our big show was last night. I mean, we Aftershock is supposedly on, which is going to be fucking awesome if it is, for sure.
Nice.
So we've got that to look forward to, and we'll see what happens. Around that time, I think Louder Than Life is going to be a go as well. So those are two big festivals. So fingers crossed that those will happen, and we'll see what else happens around that time.
Okay.
Exactly. We have something that we haven't announced yet, but I think we're planning something like in June, July.
Okay.
But
our first shows start in June for Vixen. And because that's my, I don't know if you know that, Charlie, but that's my main gig, because I play keys and tour manage for Vixen.
Oh.
So we start up in June, and we have about 2 to 3 shows a month from June until the rest of the year. And there may be more fill in as things kind of start to ease up a little bit, but that's kind of what they look like for us too. But well,
cool.
Is there anything else you guys want to plug or talk about? And then I'll let you get back to Netflixing or cleaning the house or doing whatever you were doing.
Yeah, I think we talked a lot. I mean, of course, I love coffee, and I have my own coffee, and you could go get it at my web store. And what is that store?
CharlieBenanteStore.com.
Nice.
It's really good coffee.
His coffee is good.
It's really good.
I noticed a handful of the bands. Are you with the same distributor company that Ellison has, and then the Autograph guys?
No. So I will say this about Charlie's coffee: it's different than most people. No disrespect to anyone. I'm sure everyone has great coffee, but
sure.
He went in and formulated his coffee, and he does everything.
Nice.
From designing the bags to picking the beans, picking the blend. So it's very hands-on, and it's really, really good because he's truly passionate about coffee.
Truly passionate.
And I'm truly passionate about coffee. So if he wants to make me happy, he's got to keep getting the good blends.
but I know people just go and get their coffee on the outside, like Jerry Seinfeld used to say, I get my coffee on the outside. But if you want to do it, and you want to have that experience in the morning, there's nothing better than having that smell in your house of coffee. Is just
for sure.
Thing,
Did you research the whole, like, how does this whole, obviously you had to really understand how it all works?
So this was about maybe 10, 15 years ago. Myself and Dave Mustaine, we did coffee together.
Okay.
And then that kind of fell apart, but I kept doing it. I did it and I found the roaster, and I was doing it just on my own. And then Dark Matter, they're from Chicago. They're Chicago-based coffee company. We knew some mutual friends. We met up, and bam, they said, "Yeah, we'd love to do the coffee." So I went down there. We talked so much. We tasted beans. That was the greatest day. Just sipping coffee, spitting it out. It was just great. Felt like I was doing something important. And yeah, we came up with 3 blends. One blend I don't do anymore because it had alcohol in it. It had Fernet Branca in it, and I do it every once in a while. But the basic coffees are still there, the milder blend and then the stronger one. So if you love coffee, try it. You may love it.
Yeah, I'll pick it up when we're done. Carla, do you have anything else like that that's kind of outside of your norm other than your art that you're
I don't know if people know, but I'm a grief counselor as well. I was an embalmer and a mortician. I did autopsy technician work. I worked in hospice. And since I joined Butcher Babies, I obviously can't have a real full-time job anymore. So I actually went back to school, and I've been a grief counselor now for a few years, and a death doula. So my website for that is goodgriefla.com. And you can find out more on carlaharvey.com as well. So I do worldwide Skype sessions for people who are dealing with loss.
Okay. I may have a couple people to send your way, to be honest.
Please do.
Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out and talk with me and share all of your stories with everybody. It's good to see you guys.
Check out the new Butcher Baby stuff, guys. I know you're going to love it.
Yeah, it was funny. I think I caught one of your Twitch shows or something that you guys were doing online, and it was really interesting to hear how things have changed musically for you guys since the first couple. Even you guys were like, "Man, we were a lot angrier back in that first couple of records," and then it's like,
well, now. We still have some really, really heavy stuff coming out. So, but we wanted to just release a few, more radio-esque, if you will, type songs that were something different. We all grew up listening to all different kinds of music. Mm-hmm. I love metal. I love rock and roll. I love, hard rock. But, I also was a huge fan of pop as a kid. I loved Madonna. We were watching the Tina Turner documentary today. And
is that out now?
I loved Tina Turner when I was a kid. Yeah. So we, all of us have, different interests. So why not write a couple songs that aren't your typical metal songs? And, some people's heads explode at the thought of that. But, a lot
I've
of
loved what you've put out so far. I really, really dig it. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see how it does for you guys when, radio gets a hold of it and all that stuff, if they haven't already. So, well, congrats to both of you guys on all the things that you accomplished last year and all the upcoming releases and everything that's going on with you, and for just being a power couple and being awesome. So it's good to see you guys. And I will. Yay! There you go, Wonder Twins. And
and definitely pre-save his album because I'm on 2 songs.
You are, yeah.
The best ones on the album, of course. Yeah. And Henry is also plays some sick ass guitar on one of the songs as well. So
nice.
Yeah.
What's that? Oh, I thought
Henry plays on the Living Color song, and
nice.
He shreds.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, the Massive Attack one was that one was a little out of left field too, and it was amazing. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I don't sing high. I'm not. So that was it was like torture for me. We did that with drinking Italian mules, and he was recording me in the kitchen on Friday night. I was like, I don't want to do this song. I was like, let me sing something low. Let me do some Pantera, or at least let me do one of the low Massive Attack song. He's like, no, I want you to do this song. I know you can do it. I want you to do this. And so I did it.
You did a great job.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I'm going to let you get out of here. So what I'll do is I'll end the call right now, and then I'll just follow up with you later. And thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, Tyson.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you soon. All right?
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
And we're out. All right, guys. Let's figure out who we're rating because I'm tired. My music died. Oh, there we go. My ending song. There it is. All right, who are we hitting up? Let's take a look and see who's playing. I'm not doing an after show tonight because I don't have a voice or really any stamina at the moment.
Go
so
home.
thank you guys for hanging out, watching the show.
Go.
Oops, wrong camera. Hold on. All right, there we go. Did you guys enjoy? Grim just got here. Well, that turned out really good. I was nervous as shit about that one. Not really during it, but before, because I had just not a lot of time to prepare it and get everything together. It was really insane. And because my computer completely shit the bed on my stream last week. And so I had to completely just scrap everything and start over from scratch. And the thing that was different, I'm glad I had Carla there too, because it's nice when you're doing these shows to have somebody you actually know personally, like pretty well. And I've known Carla a long time, but I didn't know Charlie very well at all. And so, yeah, I thought it was good. So what we're gonna do is, just to let you know, we're going to start releasing these like on YouTube and everything like that. And kind of like what Carla was saying, we'll release one a week until we get caught up. And that, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough under my belt to start releasing them. And I think we do. I've got somebody that's going to go through and edit them all, take out all the uhs and all the, stuff like that. But I also want to let you know what's coming up. So there is either going to not be a Let's Talk next Sunday, or if we do it, it's just going to be me and my son sitting around talking about, because my kids are in town for Easter. So we may just sit around and talk about, we have very different tastes in music, and it's kind of, it might be fun to have Nathan here talk about stuff and learn about his perspective from a 16-year-old, mind, and how he got into the stuff that he's into, because he wasn't really into music for a long time before that, until in terms of like being an artist and making music until the last 3 years. So, but on April 11th, we have Todd Kearns. Todd Kearns is a fabulous Canadian. He's a bass player, he's a guitar player, he's an incredible singer. He plays with Slash and Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. And that'll be on April 11th. On April 18th, they go now by the Talisman, but they are best known in Nashville as a band called The Rock and Roll Residency. It's Philip Schaus, the guitar player from the band Accept. And then Jeremy Asbrock and Ryan Cook both play for Ace Frehley. We kind of talked about them briefly with Charlie there. And so those guys are going to be here on April 18th. On April 25th, Eric Brittingham from the band Cinderella, who's currently playing bass with the Bret Michaels band, he'll be here. Great dude, super nice guy, and there'll be a lot to learn, about him, both for you guys and for me. And then we're starting to get some of the artists in May. Zetro from Exodus, and Jimmy and Mark from the band Kicks will be here some point in May, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, Smack 969, yeah, I may reach out to Lizzie and see. I know Lizzie and Joe pretty well, and I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I'm glad you mentioned that. I sometimes get my mind in old school mode so much. Yeah, I'll hit up Lizzie and Joe and see if they want to do it. And then somebody had brought up somebody earlier that I was like, oh yeah, who was that? I was just talking about him. And then yeah, so there's a lot of things on in the a lot of things in the on the way for Sunday nights. Um, and then for those of you currently, my schedule has kind of changed a little bit. So I'm doing Wednesdays, Fridays, doing my normal streaming shows. I had to drop Mondays because I have a current weekly gig on Mondays here in Nashville, and I don't get home until about. Usually, I don't get done with the gig until 10, and I don't get home until after midnight. So at that point, it's like I got to get my ass to bed and get up and take care of the kids. So yeah, so that's kind of where they're at, where things are at right now. Yeah, I may hit Rachel Bolin up. Rachel's been a little bit elusive, and he doesn't like doing these things. He usually refuses them. He also is extremely. Um, he's one of those guys that's like, send me all your questions before, so I can reject them. So I'll ask him, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. So Mondays I am at the stage on Broadway on the rooftop, and we play 10 to close. Is that right? No, I'm sorry. That's not 10 to close. We play the 6 to 10 spot, which still gets me home late because by the time you load off the stage, get everything packed up, go to wherever you parked, which is like forever away most of the time, get in the car and drive 45 minutes home. I don't get home until about midnight. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, bring Destro. He's seen it. You know, it's a good time. It's a different band than Destro saw, though. And it's pretty good times. The Dead Deads, yeah, I could do that. That might be a possibility. I still have a lot of people, like the guys hanging on my wall back here. There's still a lot of guys to hit up. And I still want to talk to, excuse me. Yeah, there's. I want to talk to Burton from Fear Factory. I want to get him on the show. I'd like to get Chip Zneff on the show if that's possible, and just kind of, those kind of bands that I grew up listening to. That's what I'm really enjoying. So, actually, you know what? We are going to be interviewing Brad, not in the not so distant future. We are going to do a whole show that's not on Sundays. I just have to figure out what day of the week that's going to be. But we're going to do an interview with some of the Twitch mods, some of the people that do, just to kind of get to know them and how they got involved in modding for people and all that stuff. I think it'll be really fun. And then we're going to do. We're also going to do one like the drummers of Twitch, because Twitch has a lot of really cool drumming community. So reach out to a lot of the guys that do the drum shows on there as well. So yeah, there's a lot coming up, and I appreciate you guys hanging out, coming into the show. And I will let's figure out who we're gonna hit up real quick here. It's not gonna end a little bit earlier than usual tonight. And let's see who's on. If you guys have a suggestion, that's cool. A lot of gamers playing right now. Should we hit up Tony Smiley since he rated us the other day? That might be a nice thing to do. And or do we want to try to somebody new? We haven't. This Rush Mania guy, he only has 2 people watching, but I haven't watched him, so I don't really know. I need to check him out. Looks like Roop is just starting his stream. And Shim's on. Danny Warsnup's on, but he's playing Call of Duty, so that's not very interesting. So I will open it up to your suggestions. Oh, Rushmania is just playing games too. All right, guys. Yeah, and Glow Stick, yeah. I feel like we hit Glow Stick too much. Like, a lot. I love those dudes, though. They're great. Okay. Yeah, Destro. I'm totally down. All right, let's do... let's hit up Tony because, he hit us up, and he's pretty fun, man. I watched his show the other day, and he's a pretty clever guy. He does a lot of loops and that kind of thing. So let's go check him out, and I will see you guys soon. All right, let's get this started here. Man, my voice is trash from singing so much. Yesterday I was on stage for 11 hours. It's a very long day to be on stage. There he is. All right. You guys ready? I'm doing it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Okay. Thank you guys so much. See you later.